Hardwired for life.
Welcome, Kingdomites.
That's Jenna Rolling.
And that is Sharon Lucy.
Good morning still, yes.
Yes,
Thank
it
you,
is still
Jesus.
morning. We had to think about that for a second. So we have been sort of MIA. We took the summer off, basically, from recording. And so we just started back up doing our Jesus Loves Me podcast. So you can check that out on our webpage, hardwiredforlife.com. And
we have a Facebook page with the same name.
True statement.
Just so you know.
Yeah. And we even have a group, kind of private page that you can
join.
Yeah.
Just let us know.
Just, find us.
Yeah.
And obviously hit the, I don't know where the like and subscribe and all those buttons are going to be quite yet. So,
Very good.
Do that. So, we're both like, it's kind of early still.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah, and it's been a while. So, what we thought we'd talk about today is a bit about us. We haven't really done that in any of our recordings. I mean, we get kind of personal with some of the topic questions and everything, but we haven't really talked about our testimonials or, basically
kind of where we come from.
Yeah, where we come from and how we got here.
Yeah, and why, maybe.
Why? Dude, that's a question for God right there.
I know, right?
So, Sharon.
Yes. It's my turn first, I guess. It's probably
I'm not dumb.
Yes, it's a good thing because it's too early in the morning and we don't like talking about ourselves.
Yeah. So, what was your? I mean, and of course we'll keep these kind of short. We won't go into every single little detail, but
heck no.
But what brought you to the Lord?
Oh wow, I have a really different story. In the church world, I know people answer an altar call. Not always, but often, or other people get, maybe they're on the street, different things like that. Just depends. Or a friend, or a family. Anyway, in my case, I just start having prophetic dreams when I was very young and seeing in the spirit, and I didn't know any of it. It got shut down for a really long time. Then I got into high school, and how did I know they were prophetic dreams? That's what I'm just hearing. I'm going to tell you in a minute. When I was in high school, I started to have some dreams, and they came to pass. And I didn't even know, what God was doing. I had no clue. And I was a normal kind of teenager. And, of course, that depends what world you come from.
What is normal anyway?
I know. So, anyway, I had some dreams about some friends and places I went, actually, far away in Northern California. Actually, it was kind of interesting. And they were very specific dreams. Anyway, they came to pass, and then the Holy Spirit reminded me. And I wasn't technically saved yet. Okay, so then by the time I got married, it was an immediate bunch of ugly. And it just kind of drove me to the Lord. And I would search and search. But I never formally accepted in front of people. And then eventually, I think I was 30, I actually got baptized in public because the word said so. But that was kind of my thing. I did some rebellious stuff, like a lot of people do. But that was kind of my journey in that sense.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't a typical thing. God just started talking to me. And I just remember being totally unsatisfied with the church I was in because I was Catholic. And all of those kind of things. And then basically I went from a really pretty dead, basically religious structure into a full-on Holy Roller church.
Night
so that's my
day.
That part is my story right there. So that's kind of the nutshell, version.
Nice. And let's see. Oh, here comes the cat. We have animals, and there's just nothing we can do about it. And they want to pop in and
Yeah, we're recording in a different room, and they were at the door crying, so we had to let them in.
Right.
So
that happens. Sorry about that. Until we have a studio that doesn't have cats and dogs, we're here, and we're a little bit stuck with that. So don't judge us. Have some grace. We could use it. So my story is a little bit, I don't know, it's different, it's the same. You know, we all, I keep looking over at the cat, and I'm
she's eyeing the table.
Yeah, and I'm like, Sharon, block her.
I know. If you see me do this.
We're trying to block the cat from coming up.
We're kicking under the table. We have a dog at our feet nipping, maybe.
No, dude. Okay.
Yeah, this is going to be a little casual today, okay?
Yeah, so as a child, I used to see Jesus, and I'd play with him and dance with him and stuff. He was like my friend. And I had forgotten about that, you know, as we grow up. I grew up in an abusive household. There was sexual molestation and all that. And so I had suicide attempts by the time I was 16. And, you know, life was just rough as a child for me. Of course, that put me in a position where by the time I was 19, I found myself in a very destructive relationship with a drug addict, alcoholic, abuser, and 2 kids and two abortions and 2 kids by the time I was 21. So just a kid, just a baby. And I did say the salvation prayer when I was 19 and going through some really tough stuff. But I didn't really know what it meant. You know, I worked with a Christian woman, and, you know, she led me to the Lord and then invited me to her church. Well, her church was Foursquare, Pentecostal, charismatic place, and it scared the living daylights out of me. I was like, what are these born again Christian people doing right now? I don't understand it. So I got pretty freaked out, and I walked away and didn't get back to the Lord really until I was about 27. So there was almost 10 years of, you know, still trying to deal with my husband and my children and all that stuff. So yeah, and then after that, it was kind of like you, like I was pretty quickly in a position where Holy Spirit was like, you know, I want you, and it was pretty exciting. I learned all about the spiritual gifts, and I learned about myself and why I used to see demons when I was a kid, and you know, it explained a lot. And I think what, you know, I found myself here today doing Hardwired for Life with Sharon.
God ordained, by the way.
God ordained. God pushed. More like. Yeah, it was tough. I've had a tough road, and I've been dealing with some illnesses, and because of those, I can no longer work, and so I'm at home. Can't really. I'm very limited in my mobility compared to, you know, what I used to be very active, and I used to be a professor and a program director for an art college, and worked at a local community college, and you know, now I can't do that anymore. And so that really put me in a place where I really had to get real with the Lord and my life. And, you know, I really was seeking ministry and my ability to do something while I was still at home. And I found Sharon. So that was that. It's been a couple years now that we've been doing this, and it's been amazing. An amazing road.
Yeah.
And we've published books.
Written blog, podcasted, video blogged. We have an online school, by the way.
Right. We have one class up there, and it's free.
And I think we could be called overachievers.
Right. Well, we just, God has us in so many different things because He just made us that way.
Yeah, we're both able to process large amounts of information and do multiple things at once. Wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Because of our backgrounds,
Yeah.
we grew up having to survive.
Yeah. Because I mean, because
Yeah.
I had a bunch of other trauma go on too. As a teenager, I was raped and molested and things like that. So we both have a background in all that stuff. Unfortunately, by the way, it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is October. Yes. And I would say part of the reason, I'm going to kind of segue into this part a little bit, because of what we've experienced in our lives, and God has healed us, He's moved us along, we've overcome much, we're able to help other people. Yeah. And that's why we're doing all this.
Exactly. Like because of our walks and how, we've dealt with all of this abuse, whether it be the domestic abuse or abuse in the home, in the family home, in my case, it brings us to that place where we have not only survived, we went from the victims to
the victor,
and we have been survivors for quite a long time now, but we're like, for me, I'm in a place where I don't want to just survive, I want to thrive. And that has been important to me over the last, I don't know, maybe almost 10 years. I want to pass that victimhood and pass this just surviving place. And I think in thriving, part of it is that we have something to offer. We can be empathetic and sympathetic with people who have been through some hard things.
Yeah, we have real life solutions.
For sure, which always begin and end with God.
Of course.
Yeah, so as we were talking about, okay, let's get into videos again, and what should we do? We really felt the Lord say, talk about yourselves. Yeah, and we both were like, no, I don't want to do that.
This is really hard for us.
Yeah, it's
don't like to do this.
It's tough. It's tough to do video when you're not used to it, let alone talk about
your personal stuff,
your dark stuff, things that have happened to you. And so here we are in October. Yeah. And October is a tough month. For me, it's been a tough month in my life. We're here, we're facing Halloween as a pagan holiday, and the darkness is just getting darker when it comes to the holiday, because now, think about it, when we were kids, in my family, we always did Halloween, and we had to make our own costumes, and we participated in it because I didn't grow up in a Christian home, and Halloween just, I don't know, it always equaled bad for me for some reason. And now I know why. Right. And I've had several situations in my life that were hard happen in October's. It seems like October is just one of these months that the devil is out and he just wants to take you down. Right. And so we fight that. We're not shy about letting the devil know who's got the goods, so to speak. Who wins this battle, right? These battles and this war ultimately. So
we just we've been a lot of different arenas that God's prepared us to get here. I did a lot of community kind of things, ground roots, politics, Operation Rescue, pro-life, the schools, the local politics, the state politics, those kind of things. I have a more governmental call. Things I never thought I'd ever do. So when God's leading you somewhere, don't be surprised.
Yeah. And I have like barely a political bone in my body. So.
Well, I never did either, but I'm a big social injustice person, so it's kind of like that's really what God put in me to draw me that way eventually, because I hate all of it. You know, I could go on and on about that one.
Yeah, about the destruction and darkness and the people and the whereas my call is more in the healing realm. You know, the enemy likes to attack us in places where our call is at, and so of course, you know, I was diagnosed with not one or two.
I'm sorry, I mean to laugh.
3 rare diseases.
It'd be just like God, right?
Yeah, 5 rare diseases.
And I'm not dismissing her seriousness.
Oh no,
at all.
we joke about it because
we
it's
have
just
to.
stupid. It's ridiculous. You know, my doctors are like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
You know, and those 5 rare diseases have caused multiple other diseases in the last couple of years, like obesity, diabetes, and stage 2 kidney disease, and all sorts of other things that I don't even like to talk about because I don't want to own them. You know, I want to be healed. And so that's been my fight recently. But
I think I'm going to bring this up too because this is important. You know, when God puts stuff in your life, see the teachers are coming out, sorry. You know, don't ever dismiss the small beginnings of what you're doing. And I'm gonna brag on Jana. She's very much the creator. I'm coming along. It's always been in there. I just never got to do it. That was one of those things that got squashed in me from domestic violence. But typically, though, she's always got something art going somehow, some creation going. And I'm always like, what are you doing? Like a little kid, what are you doing?
It's the artist in me.
Yeah, so it's very exciting because I'm going to say the pairing that God put us together, you know, we have so many things to not only share with each other in Lord, and it's so exciting, but yet we get to bring that to you.
Yes.
And that's, I'm going to cry because I love how God does all this stuff for the people.
Yeah, he puts people together that need to be together. And what, you know, we balance.
Yes, like,
you know, we just balance.
We kind of do this.
Yeah, balance.
Well, she doesn't have, I have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, or highlight, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's amazing. Sure. It's really cool.
And I mentioned it a little bit ago, but really didn't expound, is that we have written books. And it's interesting because there are a couple books that I've wanted to write over the years, but never really got to them. Or, you know, and in Sharon's case, she's had books that were like almost done, but not quite done.
And they're just, I still have some that are just sitting mostly finished yet.
Right.
But so, God's like, okay, do this first. You're like, okay.
Yeah. So God has put us together and he's given us the skills and ability to not only write the books, but self-publish them, do all of the layout, you know, the artwork and everything for them, and not have to rely on anybody else to get them done. And it's been pretty amazing. We've each done our own books, and then we've published books together. We've written together as well. So they're all hardwired. Yeah. Most of them. All of them?
Yeah, except what about your blessings books?
Those are hardwired.
It still says
so it's like hardwired for blessings, hardwired for love, hardwired for glory, these types of things. And, you know, hardwired to fear God, hardwired to defeat rejection.
Right.
We published last year, between the two of us, like 13 books or something like that.
Yeah. And it's a couple booklets and
and they're
that's
not all big.
Not including the blogging and everything else.
Right, and they're not all big. No, you know, they're not.
No, on purpose. On purpose,
because we really feel like people need time. You know, they don't need to spend hours and hours and hours of their life, you know,
looking at the novel,
looking at these huge books, these classroom size textbooks, you know. So some of our books are very little. They're very short, and to find them, you can go on hardwiredforlife.com to our shop books page, and also find them on Amazon.
Or you can call us, DM us, email us,
something.
Some of you guys have my phone number,
something like that.
You text me. That reminds me. I have some to do. To order some, But
and so both of us are currently working on 2 or 3 books at the same time.
Yeah, right now we are.
You know, and that's just the way it's been.
Yeah, we just get bored too, because God just flows through us, and her background affords her to write to the point, and just because how God created me, I write to the point. We get rid of all the fluff. We can write like that, don't get me wrong, we both can, but that's not what God wants us to do. He just wants you to have the information, and you know, people want real and truth right now. They're not into just fluff, so we don't do that.
Yeah,
we can though, but we
don't. So Sharon.
Yes. I'm the non-talker usually. I don't want to talk at all, so go ahead.
If you could look at where Hardwired for Life is right now, and what we have going on, what would you say is in our future?
Oh wow, an awful lot. Gosh. Oh boy. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I should go there, but maybe I will. She's like, you better say something.
I'm just saying.
Actually, you know, if you're watching this, you're not going to be all offended at what we're saying to you. And some of you know, some of you may not be saved even or believe in God. I have no idea, so I'm going to say it anyway. You know, the Lord lets us know what's happening. He gives us future stuff personally and for the world. Depends what's going on. Depends what he wants us to know. Yeah. But, you know, we know that God has opened doors for us to go and talk about what we've written. Again, because our job is to equip the people, and that's what these books are about. This isn't just about our own personal stories or anything like that. We're both wired to help people because we want you to have life, and more abundantly. That's what we represent from God, is doing that. And you know, we're starting to see some of that happen already. We're starting to see a little bit of the gate open. Well, the gate's open, but I'm thinking the floodgate.
Well, you know.
Yeah, so we're starting to see little bits of that come forth right now. And hold on a second.
As far as speaking with.
Well, speaking and going to be able to talk about what we do.
Right. Okay.
We have a lot of connections. I have a ridiculous amount, but how God opens the doors is how he opens them. You know, we don't try to control anything. Everything my whole life has been, I don't worry about the next step, because God always gets us there. Always. He always gets me there. I don't have, sorry you guys, but I didn't do Facebook, and I got to every place I was supposed to be without wasting my time.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really exciting because, you know, we have a lot coming. Plus, you know, again, part of my prayers, I think some of Jana's are the same for years, has been a certain way, and God is starting to answer those prayers, and it has to do with what we're currently doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I've had people even come up to me and say, Pastor Vicky was funny one day. You have to understand, this pastor is an on-fire Christian, like crazy, amazing lady. She's mostly deaf. She lost her hearing at 3. And she went on to do a whole ministry school with The Rock in San Bernardino, all video, with someone who signed for ministry. She's the first ordained ministry pastor, and then she created the course. So she's very astute. Okay, so one day she turns around to me, we're in the car, and she goes, she's really funny. Deaf people have more expression in their face.
Yes.
Now, she can read your lips, and she can talk sometimes with her voice. So she turns around and talks to me because she knows I don't know that much sign language, unfortunately. I know a little bit. I actually get to do one of her conferences with an interpreter. But so she turns around, she whips her head, and she looks at me, and she goes, do you have 3 or 4 people working with you? And I'm like, how do you know? Well, I know how she knew it, but I was taken back, like, you're not supposed to know that. So I said, not yet. And she goes, well, I see them, and they're amazing, and da-da-da-da. Anyway, so Jana's one of them. Now, that was like maybe 7 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, so things come slowly. I know that things are going to come a lot faster. The Lord's reminding me things are now going to go really fast. But yeah, so not to go on and on, but
Yeah.
God has plans, and so we're along with those plans.
All that to say that he puts people in your path.
Yeah.
When you pray to do his will for your life and his will in general, he not only tells you what's up, but he puts people in your life. And I think that God is doing a lot with us. We have so many ideas.
Yeah, we have a ridiculous. I mean, I could go on for hours.
We have ideas to do a creativity expo.
Yes, and I'm so sad. We were going to do it and COVID hit.
I know.
Because we were already like talking to people. Oh my God, I can't wait.
Yeah, so
I was so sad.
I know. So that's something that hopefully is going to come soon.
Yes.
I don't know, in the next year or two.
Yeah.
Because it is a big project that we have to really put together. And then we have lists, like lists of books.
Yes.
God is like, he gives us a title.
Right.
And then within like a very short period of time, he downloads the outline of the book. And he's always like, yep, you're going to write a book about this. This is going to be a book, And for me, writing the books it's a way that I process information. It's very cathartic for me. I just learn things. When you teach, you learn.
Right.
And so I love to write because I'm always learning something new.
Right.
And we have a lot of, again, for the online school, we have a lot of ideas for courses.
There's just a lot. I mean,
and we're like,
and even
Lord,
art,
are you
there's
serious?
even other publishing things. I don't know. I think we've talked about it. We want to do that would be really evangelistic. I think we talked about this the other day a little bit. Something came up. My brain is always going, and I just started oil painting a couple years ago. So I have some ideas. There's just a bunch of stuff. And then I'm always learning stuff from her. Like I know this is not even for you guys, but we're going to do some journals, learn how to make a journal by scratch.
Yeah, I do handmade books.
Yeah, she does
That's
amazing.
one of the things that I love to do. So we're going to do some journals.
We have so much.
So you might be getting one for Christmas.
Right? There's just so much, but we have just this word cracks me up. A plethora of ideas. And then here's the thing. The Lord actually, when we have those ideas, he puts that in there because, if you're really doing God in the being mode, he actually incorporates a lot of it within your own life path. You don't have to go out there and drum it up somewhere. God just kind of bursts it where you're at, not having to go running around kind of a thing.
Right.
Yeah, so we've been saying that, we've been really amazed at how much he's done like that.
Yeah, he's really blessed us. And again, we just kind of sit back and he tells us what we're doing and we're like, okay.
And too, we need to say this. We actually, this is really, I hope we get back to some of this. We were teaching people how to write. We had some writing classes. And then we had some RIDING ideas, riding horses for a horse church.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was thinking about it the other day and I was really sad because I'm like, Lord, when do we get to do that?
Right.
Yeah, so we have...
Who knows?
Yeah.
We're just taking it one step at a time.
Of course.
One day at a time. And so contact us if you have questions, comments, concerns, all those kinds of things. And I think we're good.
Yeah. We're actually going to go see the horse.
We're done, right? Because we're going to go to the ranch to meet my daughter because she rides my horse. So, yeah.
Alrighty then. So, I don't know. Is there anything else we want to talk about? This is our shining moment.
Oh, please. Then we're in trouble.
You know what I'm saying. God said we could.
Right. No, I think that's it.
Okay.
So blessings to all of you. And don't forget to spread the word.
And be you, share you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Please visit our website at hardwiredforlife.com.
Production and editing done in-house at Hardwired for Life. Music by Alexander Nakaranda at Degenerate Blues.